This is one of the most important rooms in the country for finding potentially dangerous new variants of COVID. If you've tested positive, there's a chance a little bit of your virus ended up in one of these machines, having its genetic fingerprint taken. They read all the DNA of each individual virus, known as its genome. The virus genome is much smaller than the human genome, maybe about 100,000 times smaller. And every one of these machines is able to look at 1,500 samples every 24 hours. There are 20 of these machines and they are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Starting from scratch a year ago, they've set up by far the biggest genome monitoring system in the world, going from 90 COVID test samples in week 1 to 20,000 a week today, from all over the UK. You've been doing this for a year. You were one of the key people who set it all up in the first place. What was it like back then?
It was absolutely crazy. It was all very new to us and how we could do it, and also the pressure and the importance of it certainly weighed on our shoulders.
This is how they spotted the more infectious Kent variant that swept Britain. Why is speed so important to this process?
The sooner that we've identified that positive case was actually a variant of concern, the sooner that action can be taken to further identify that individual's contacts, test them, surge testing, and make sure that that hasn't got the opportunity to spread further.
There are thousands of different types of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, all with slightly different genomes or genetic fingerprints. If two people have different types, they didn't catch it from each other.
And that's really critical information because that allows you to it allows you to understand potentially how the virus is transmitting in a location. So it might be within an outbreak in a workplace. If everyone's got the same virus, then the chances are that's happening inside the workplace. But if it's all different viruses, then it's likely it's happening in the community. So that allows you to make decisions about how you would manage an outbreak.
I know this is really speculative, but if we'd had all of this sequencing in place at the start, what kind of difference could that have made, do you think, to the way we control the virus?
Well, so I think one of the important things, it would have told us quite a lot about how, in the early days of the importation into the UK, where the virus was coming from, potentially. When we went and looked back retrospectively, we identified there were at least 1,500 independent introductions, and they were coming mainly from France, Spain, and then from Italy. So that would have told us that the virus has been introduced from Europe, not from China. So that may have altered, it may have changed border policy, or it may have encouraged the government to perhaps lock down. It would have given them more intelligence to the government to allow them to make decisions.
So this is like the world's biggest reconnaissance system, keeping tabs on how the enemy is changing and moving around. Critical information if you want to stamp out future waves before they take hold. Richard Westcott, BBC News, at the Wellcome Sanger Institute in Cambridge.